I've been told that over time, passion cools. Let the desire disappear. That routine ruins any couple. But let me tell you a secret. None of this is true. At age 76, my intimate life not only exists, it is full, vibrant, and full of pleasure. And no, it wasn't luck, nor a miracle. I discovered that intimacy goes far beyond the physical, and that small daily habits make all the difference. You may think that after a certain age there is no more room for desire, emotional connection, or marital happiness. I also once believed that, but it was when I started to see love in a different way, to truly communicate with my partner, and to better understand my own body, that everything changed. Passion doesn't disappear. It just needs to be nurtured in the right way. And I guarantee this is possible for any couple, regardless of age. If you feel that your relationship has fallen into monotony, that the spark is no longer the same, or that there is a lack of harmony between you and your partner, stay with me. I'm going to share everything I've learned over the years and reveal what really makes a relationship last with affection, desire, and respect. And the best part, changes are not impossible, nor something that requires superhuman effort. They are small adjustments that can completely transform the way you experience love. Let's do it. Time may be my greatest ally, but it has also been a silent enemy in my relationship. There were moments when routine took over, and I realized we were entering the automatic mode, where each day felt like a repeat of the previous one. And do you know what happens when this happens? The emotional connection begins to weaken. But over the years, I learned that time, when used well, strengthens love and intimacy. I have found that small moments of quality make all the difference. A cell phone-free breakfast, an unexpected walk, a subtle touch in the middle of the day. Ultimately, a lasting relationship is not only measured by the years lived together, but by the intensity of shared moments. For a long time, I believed the myth that desire and attunement naturally diminish over the years. But that's not true. Love doesn't change. What changes is the way it is cultivated. When I started practicing more open communication and showing affection on a daily basis, my relationship took on a new lease of life. Small gestures, like a passionate kiss before bed or an affectionate message throughout the day, create a solid foundation for emotional security and emotional connection. Today, I know that time does not wear out love. It can be the best fuel to strengthen intimacy. If I had only seen time as a relentless counter of years and challenges, perhaps my story would be different. But see it as an ally for personal growth and development. Within the relationship, it made all the difference. I learned that a healthy relationship doesn't just survive on what was built in the past. It needs to be nurtured every day. And if there's one thing I've discovered on this journey, it's that a lot of people still believe in misconceptions about love and intimacy. I grew up hearing that a happy relationship happens naturally, without effort, as if true love was enough to sustain a life together. And for many years, I believed it. But over time, I realized that this is one of the biggest myths about marital happiness. A lasting relationship requires commitment, dialogue, and willingness to grow together. Love alone does not resolve differences, does not prevent crises, and much less guarantees emotional connection. What really makes the difference are the small daily habits, how to express feelings, demonstrate emotional support, and practice active listening. Another common misconception I was taught was that intimacy and passion decrease over time, as if they were inevitable victims of routine. But I have lived long enough to know that this is nothing more than a mistake. Sexuality and desire need to be nurtured so they don't cool down. When a couple explore new ways of connecting, maintains harmony, and avoids monotony through small gestures, the flame of passion remains lit. Something as simple as a passionate kiss rather than a hasty peck can make a huge difference in the way intimacy develops over the years. And who said there is a secret formula for pleasure? After so many years of relationship, I realized that each couple has their own dynamics. What works for one may not work for another, and open communication about desires and preferences. It's the best way to strengthen intimacy. Studies show that couples who talk about their intimate life have a more satisfactory relationship. And if small changes in the way of communicating already make a difference, imagine the impact of conscious adjustments in the couple's daily life. People often think that drastic changes are necessary to improve a relationship, but I've learned that small adjustments, they can completely transform the couple's dynamics. A simple "good morning," said with affection, a longer look or a subtle touch when passing by their partner, they can rekindle the emotional connection. The communication in relationship, it doesn't have to be grand. It's the day-to-day details that make the difference. Small habits accumulated over time create a lasting relationship and strengthen the intimacy. The couple dialogue can also be adjusted to improve tuning. Swap charges for open questions such as, "What can I do to make your day better?" Encourages empathy and understanding. Furthermore, express feelings fearlessly and honestly strengthens the emotional security. Before, I expected my partner guess what I wanted or needed, but I learned that speak clearly about what I feel, and desire avoids misunderstandings and creates an environment of mutual trust. Those small gestures and adjustments in communication helped me avoid routine becoming a problem. Today, I understand that couples who invest in renewal of the relationship, searching, explore new ways of connecting, keep the passion alive. One surprise dinner, one unexpected praise, or even a moment of affection for no specific reason. They can transform the way we see those around us. After all, the biggest impacts on the relationship do not always come from big gestures, but rather the sum of small details that strengthen love. And when we talk about gestures, it is impossible to ignore the power of affection in a couple's connection. I've always known that touch has immense power in a couple's emotional connection, but I confess that I didn't always pay due attention to it. A simple long hug can transmit emotional security indescribable and reinforce intimacy much more than words. I realized this when I started paying attention to the small gestures, holding hands while watching a movie, a spontaneous caress on the back of the neck, a light stroke on the arm. These are subtle details, but they show my partner that they are valued. Body expression communicates what we often can't put into words, and I've learned that couples who maintain this language of affection, active, tend to have a lasting and more satisfying relationship. Not always necessary big statements to show love. One note left on the pillow, one passionate kiss before leaving for work, or even a complicit look during a conversation with friends, they make a huge difference. Routine can try to erase these little moments, and I admit I've let that happen for a while. But it was precisely daily repetition of these gestures that kept my relationship alive. When affection becomes a constant practice, the couple feels more connected and protected against the stresses of everyday life. Today, I don't let a day go by without one gesture of affection. Furthermore, I have seen studies that show how communication in the relationship improves significantly when there is frequent physical contact. Affection releases hormones that reduce stress and increase the feeling of emotional well-being, creating an environment of complicity. A couple who get used to express affection not only reinforces love, but also improves open communication and others' expression of feelings. And if the physical affection already has this impact, imagine what happens when the feelings and desires are expressed clearly and honestly, I have learned over the years that no couple survives without an open and honest communication. Silence can be a slow poison, corroding the emotional connection without us noticing. In the past, I made the mistake of expecting my partner to know what I felt or wanted. But this expectation only generated frustration. Over time, I came to understand that expressing feelings, whether positive or worried, is essential to maintaining tuning. Small disagreements can turn into big problems when not discussed, while sincere conversations strengthen the relationship and increase the emotional security. One of the biggest lessons I learned was about active listening. For many years, I listened to my partner just waiting for my turn to speak, without really absorbing what he wanted to say. This created barriers and made dialogue difficult. That's when I started practicing empathy. Repeat what I understood and asking, "Could you explain it to me better?" That everything has changed. This type of approach transformed discussions into growth opportunities and brought us much closer. After all, when they both feel ears, the emotional connection strengthens. Communication in a relationship isn't just about resolving problems. It's also about express affection, desire, and intimacy. I discovered that small compliments, unexpected messages, and spontaneous statements, these are simple but powerful ways to show love in everyday life. Furthermore, talk about expectations, dreams, and even fantasies keeps the couple aligned and avoids unpleasant surprises in the future. And if words have this power to strengthen connection, imagine how intimacy expands when we realize that she goes far beyond the physical. For many years, I thought intimacy just meant physical contact, but I discovered that true connection goes far beyond that. The harmony between a couple starts in the mind and heart, in the ability to share thoughts, fears, and dreams without fear of judgment. To the deep conversations, those where we feel comfortable opening up, create a level of complicity that sustains the relationship at any stage of life. Today, I see clearly that pleasure and attraction are important, but what really strengthens a lasting relationship is the emotional security and companionship. When I went to invest in sincere dialogue and active listening, my relationship transformed. We created a safe space to be who we really are, without masks, without fears. This allowed us express our feelings without fear of rejection and further deepen the emotional connection. Small gestures like asking, "How do you feel today?" or showing genuine interest in someone else's concerns make a huge difference. Today, I understand that a subtle touch can be exciting, but an intimate conversation can be even more transformative. This is why couples who talk about their emotions, fears, and desires build a more solid relationship. The emotional intimacy. It's what keeps a couple together even when challenges arise. Furthermore, it creates a basis for physical intimacy, is more pleasurable and meaningful. When there is self-respect and open communication, a connection becomes more natural and spontaneous. But if this emotional exchange is lost, the risk of routine taking care of the relationship grows considerably. The routine can be an ally or a silent enemy within a relationship. I've lived both sides. When the days become predictable and affectionate gestures disappear, the emotional connection begins to erode. Small habits, like stopping giving good morning with enthusiasm or not demonstrate genuine interest in others, can create a gradual distancing. The problem is not the stability, but rather the lack of renewal of the relationship. I know, from my own experience, that a couple who doesn't make an effort to stay in tune runs the risk of fall into monotony and lose intimacy over time. Many people believe that love is enough to maintain a lasting relationship, but without the spark of newness, even the strongest feeling can weaken. Couples who avoid routine, even in small details, can maintain the marital happiness for longer. Something as simple as an unexpected compliment, a subtle touch, or a planned night out to get out of the routine can rekindle the desire. Predictability can kill attraction, but spontaneity and special moments strengthen passion and pleasure in the relationship. If I notice that communication in my relationship is becoming scarce and that the tune is no longer the same, I see it as a warning sign. The solution is not just in big gestures, but in explore new ways of connecting. Test one new restaurant, plan a surprise trip, or even change the way we greet each other on a daily basis can make all the difference. The secret is avoid autopilot and continue discovering who is by our side. And speaking of secrets, many myths about intimacy still need to be unraveled. Another common myth is that passion and desire inevitably wane over time. In reality, what changes is not the attraction, but rather the way it is cultivated. Small gestures of affection, like an unexpected passionate kiss or a subtle touch throughout the day, can reignite the spark. Desire doesn't go away. It just needs to be stimulated. When a couple explores new ways of connecting, whether emotionally or physically, intimacy continues to grow, even after years together. Furthermore, many people believe that expressing their desires and fantasies can be embarrassing or harmful to the relationship. However, communication about intimacy is one of the factors that most strengthens the couple's harmony. Studies show that couples who talk openly about their intimate lives report greater relationship satisfaction. The key to a lasting relationship is honesty and respecting individual preferences. And since each couple has their own trajectory, adapting to changes is essential to keep the connection alive. Relationships are living organisms. They evolve, change, and require constant adjustments. The couple who understands this builds a stronger foundation for the future. Unrealistic expectations about happily ever after can lead to frustration, but those who accept that love goes through different phases learn to reinvent themselves. Adapting to changes means understanding that emotional connection needs to be nurtured in different ways over the years. Small gestures, such as renewing vows from time to time or remembering special moments, help keep harmony and companionship alive. Individual differences are also part of this process. Both parties will not always be at the same emotional stage or with the same desires, and this does not mean that the relationship is in crisis. Communication in the relationship needs to be adjusted as the couple matures. Instead of resisting change, it's more productive to embrace it and find new ways to connect. Self-respect and respect for your partner go together, and learning to balance these two things is essential for a healthy relationship. Couples who face challenges with empathy and emotional support are more likely to strengthen their bond. The way they deal with hormonal changes, emotional cycles, and new phases of life can define the longevities of the relationship. The flexibility to explore new forms of connection and maintain dialogue within the couple are keys to avoiding burnout. And if you still have doubts about the importance of communication, just look at the numbers. They make it clear that couples who talk have better relationships. Science has already proven couples who prioritize dialogue have more satisfying and lasting relationships. It's not just about resolving conflicts, but about creating a safe space to express feelings, desires, and concerns without fear of judgment. Studies show that open communication in a relationship increases emotional connection and reduces the chances of unnecessary disagreements. When a couple learns to listen and speak honestly, harmony naturally strengthens and intimacy becomes deeper. Talking about desires and preferences in private also makes a huge difference. Many couples avoid this type of dialogue out of shame or fear of being misinterpreted. But the truth is that the more transparent the communication, the greater the pleasure and mutual satisfaction. Small adjustments in the way you speak and the way you approach certain topics can transform the dynamics of the relationship. Something as simple as asking, "What would you like me to do?" It can open doors to new discoveries and strengthen the couple's harmony. Research shows that couples who openly discuss their intimate desires have higher levels of marital happiness. Respect for preferences and empathy ensure that the relationship remains healthy and stimulating over time. Furthermore, effective communication avoids misunderstandings that can lead to emotional distance. And when we talk about numbers and facts, some statistics about intimacy reveal surprising information that many people are unaware of. With my experiences and curious studies on this subject, I can guarantee you, small changes in the relationship can have a huge impact on the couple's satisfaction. For example, research indicates that 40% of women consider nipple stimulation essential for intimacy, which reinforces the importance of open communication about preferences. When a couple feels comfortable expressing their desires without fear, the pleasure becomes more intense and harmony increases. Frank conversation about what each other likes not only improves intimacy, but also strengthens the emotional connection. Another interesting fact reveals that couples who openly discuss their desires have greater relationship satisfaction. This proves that intimacy should not be a taboo, but rather a territory of mutual discovery. Small daily habits, like asking, "What do you like me to do?" or praising something specific about your partner, create an environment of emotional security where both feel valued. Pleasure and complicity grow when the couple learns to communicate in a sincere and respectful way. And it's not just emotions that influence intimacy. The body also plays a role. Studies show that hydration directly influences natural lubrication and intimate performance, highlighting how simple aspects of physical well-being can impact life as a couple. Staying hydrated, taking care of your diet, and exercising are ways to improve not only your health, but also the quality of your relationship. And speaking of quality of life, a 76-year-old woman revealed a surprising secret to a full and happy, intimate life. Now that you know all these secrets, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Are you going to continue waiting for things to change on their own? Or are you going to take the first step towards transforming your relationship? The choice is yours. Small gestures, more open communication, and a different look at intimacy can make more of a difference than you think. But nothing changes without action. And tell me, which of these strategies made the most sense to you? If you like the tips and want to start applying them today, type, "I want more connection" in the comments. Now, if you think that none of this makes a difference, and you prefer to continue believing in the myths you've been told, then type, "I prefer the routine." I'd love to know your opinion. Oh, and if you want to continue learning about how to have a stronger, more intimate and passionate relationship, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I always bring content that will help you experience love fully and truly. Now tell me, are you ready to take this next step? See you in the next video.